Hello, welcome to Until My Batteries Expire. Our place got hit by a flash flood thanks to Typhoon Gaemi. The family is safe, but the first floor was completely underwater, and this includes a lot of my personal effects. It took several days before I was able to retrieve these items, by which point they were completely, soaked in water, various states of dampness. And so for the last few days, I've been cataloging these items, checking which ones can be recovered, can be salvaged. Several of my cosplay books were affected. You can see some of these here. And I'm in the midst of trying to salvage them, right? I've checked the online tutorials, and so this is my first time really to try and recover a book from water damage. I thought I would share my experience to fellow collectors. So let's get right down to it. By the way, this is a book from Olivie. She is a very popular cosplayer from Hong Kong. As you can see here, your paper towels between the pages of the book. Now, when I retrieved these items from my personal storage area, right? Basically a drawer, right? They smelled of damp, moldy wood. There's a thin layer of gunk, slime on much of the stuff, much of the items. And you have to clean that up, right? Now these are cosplay books. Cosplay books have a limited production run. It's not unusual for them to be out of print. In some cases, your only option is to buy the digital copy as a replacement if they're offering one. Some cosplayers do not have a digital copy as their way of preventing illegal copying of their content. Anyway, so for this case, for these books which have been caught in the flood, submerged at least 24 hours, and at least 24 hours, could be as many, and a bit dirty, you get the book, and then you dunk it in a separate tub of clean water. This washes away some of the excess dirt and slime and gunk which would have seeped between the pages of your book. And while you let it sit there for a few minutes, after letting it sit for a few minutes, before you get your book out of that tub of water, you try to pry open the pages gently while it's in that tub of water, right? I mean, when you try to, when a bunch of wet pages stick together, right? There's a really good chance you'll damage the pages by prying them apart. But when they're underwater, less likely chance. It's a less likely chance, at least from my experience. And this also, So you get to do that. You do that. You pry open as many pages as you can of your cosplay book. Hopefully, you do it for all the pages. And then once you've, because it's easier that way. It's easier to do it while it's wet, while the pages are really thoroughly wet and underwater. When you do that, once you do that, you get your book out of that tub. You put it on top of a clean towel. You prepare a bunch of paper towels, and then you insert it between each leaf of your cosplay book. Online tutorials suggest inserting a paper towel between every 10 to 15 pages of your book, but that's for books that are all text, like novels, Bibles, biographies, that sort of thing. For essentially a picture book, you want to save as many pictures as you can, right? So, from my experience at least, it's better to just stick a towel between each leaf. I'll show you here. And then once it's done, you close the book, you press on it to let the towels absorb as much of the moisture as they can. And then maybe after about an hour, you replace them with a new batch of paper towels. Replace the batch, close the book, press, and repeat as many times as necessary until the pages feel reasonably dry to the touch, right? And now as you can see here that this book so far looks deformed. The cover has already suffered some physical damage. But again, this is my first attempt to try and recover my stuff this way. And so right now my priority is to make sure that I still have a usable cosplay book. I'm not really thinking that far ahead as to whether the spine will be damaged or whether the pages might fall off. I just want to make sure that I save as many of the pages themselves as I can. If the book is deformed, then you can always place a really heavy object on top of it once it's dry, and just let gravity do the rest. Just press the heavy object on top of the dry book, the recovered book. Check every so often to see if it's back to its normal flat shape, and there you go. These two books are, at least for my purposes, reasonably dry. They're deformed. There's a bit of physical damage between the pages, as you can see over here. But considering what they went through, and this really is just a first-time effort on my part to try and salvage them. I'm fairly fine with the results. I can live with that. I can live with that. I mean, this page is already fallen off, but for the most part, this one seems fine. At least for me, right? And this one from Katie Keiki, there's some deformity. There's some. The pages are still deformed, but again, I just put a heavy object on top. That should be fine. This one's in progress. I still have a few more books to try and salvage. And this is on top of the other cleanup we need to do for the house. So yeah, this is just my contribution. This is my attempt to help to contribute to fellow collectors to help on if they too would have to deal with this kind of situation. Anyhow, I thank you for your time, and do stay safe. See you in the next one.